IHM Ahmedabad Standards of Excellence at IHM Pusa. Sir, my husband, your student Manu, gets bugged whenever I have to get dressed in a sari. Because I get dressed in a sari before he has even started dressing in his formals. For he has to then assist me in bending down to help me with my pleats. Because he thinks that he thinks that I have to wait, he has to wait for half an hour. I'll be late. Quote unquote Sonia Chaudhary, my class of 1996. She passed out some 2 decades earlier. And Pankaj Agarwal in Delhi tells me some 2.5 decades after he passed out in 1992, my class of 1992. Sir, see, he says, meeting when I met him in Delhi, he holds the back of my wrist and rubs it against his cheek. See my shave? And then tells me, the privacy of his office, see, my wife thinks I'm mad. Says, so I asked him, how many years you've married? 5 years? He said, yes. You have a child? Said, yes, I have a son. He said, fantastic. That's a very happy marriage. Every wife thinks her husband is mad after 5 years of marriage. So don't worry. He says, no, that's not the reason. Every weekend, she notices me polishing my black shoes, leather shoes with laces, and I look into the shine to see whether I can see my face in it or not. And then she notices me shaving every weekend, and she says, why the hell are you doing that on a weekend? And then she sees me rubbing the back of my palm against my cheeks. She says, one man, Mr. Neelkantan. I said, Pankaj, forget it now, please. I'm laughing the way he narrates it to me as if he's a first-year student and not an entrepreneur. He's now a family man. A lady student, manager of waiting to the Commonwealth Games head in Delhi, in dress and casuals, was told by the executive chef of the hotel, Ashok Hotel Delhi, Mr. Chef Sabal, to meet the MD within 5 minutes. She replies, Chef, allow me a moment, I shall change into a sari and meet you. The chef, well, but I think you'll need at least half an hour. You don't have time. So allow me a moment. The chef is tense, but then he waits. She joins him in a moment, and he asks, how do you do it? With a twinkle in her eye, she says, ask your friend, Mr. Neelkantan. He got us to start this in first year. Samir Kasal, the perpetual late comer, who I always observe, I was always comment on him that he would be late for his own bloody funeral. Now, as the meeting place, half an hour before the appointed time, and smartly turned up to put the pressure on the other person. I accept these compliments with grace, but then the objective to ensure that punctuality and grooming standard is then, and weekly submission of journals, neatly written, with indices and butter paper before each chapter, with the chapter name preceding it, was not to be remembered decades later. Why I, a student of IHM Ahmedabad, a small little institute, tucked away in one corner of India, had to start this trend at IHM Pusa, the premier hospitality institute. Second, IHM after IHM Bombay. Well, that's the narrative of the day, and when I joined Pusa in 1989 as a junior teen faculty, front office, I noticed that the second year and third year students, that is my class of 1991 and 1990 respectively, would dress up in uniforms, etc., mandatory uniforms for the kitchen, for the restaurant, and housekeeping practicals. But for the front office, they would turn up in casuals. So I decided then there was no way that this was going to happen with my students who were going to assign to me that year, the first years, that 1989 batch, Pankaj Agarwal's batch, Samir Kasal's course, who passed out in 1992. After 2 practical sessions, I told them knowing there would be howls of protest, there would be a mutiny. From next week onwards, girls are going to turn up as ladies, dressed up in saris, howls of protest, no sir, except for 3 girls. Meenakshi Ramanathan, Varalakshmi, and Malvika Niyogi were unruffled. The first 2 Tamilians, the latter a Bengali. Likewise, the boys had to not tie for their summer classes for summers. Otherwise, they had to be in their formals. They learnt at great cost. They had to be in the seats by 0845 hours with notebook and pen in hand, for a 0900 hours class. But then I was there at 0830 hours. Journals had to be submitted weekly, and each attendance of a practical class would fetch them a little less than 2 marks. 50 marks was earmarked for the internal assessment and 50 for the external examiner, for the final practical examinations. So I said, you come, attend the classes, and you submit journals, you earn 2 marks. That's yours. I give it to you. But it has been standard quality. There has to be a certain excellence to it. Otherwise, you won't get it. Grooming standards, journal standards. Otherwise, journals would kiss the floor. Besides, the journals was going to be the Bible. So I told them, you have your one point of reference for anything, any doubt in front office. Your theory examinations, for your practical, final practicals, for your campus placement questions, anything and everything, just for the journal, more than enough. You don't need to go and do anything else. So ensure that it is complete. Deliberately, I never let them know why I was compelling them to do this. I wanted them to imbibe this as a character trait without stinting the least, as one pint of sweat in peacetime, to ensure they would not need to bleed even one drop of blood in war. Because the war was going to happen in 1 year, which they didn't know, or at least they didn't know the seriousness of the war. They'd go into the industry for 6 months of industrial training in second year. So I wanted them to be the best. I wanted them to be relaxed. I wanted them to be the best among all the other Kettering College students in the industry, so they get noticed when the hospitality industry comes for campus placements. They get noticed first, and they get the placements, the placement that they want. Within 3 months, the number of latecomers dropped. The girls needing only just 2 minutes to get to wear a sari, with only one safety pin needed now to put the pallu in place at the lapel. I was pleasantly surprised in 2014 when I visited Pusa to be told by the front office teaching faculty member that the practice of saris, formal wear, and journal submissions still is being practiced at Pusa. For which I would thank my class of 1992, who took this suffering, this tyranny, this cruelty, and supported me in my objective. So thank you very much, my class of 92. Because there are no other seniors to look up to. They had to be the first. And secondly, the others, everybody else just had to look up to the seniors for guidance. The lesson, as teachers, we have to live in the moment, be cruel to be kind, and fulfill a responsibility with no expectations to be remembered by the students after passing out. Embrace the turn to enjoy the twist.